Thanks for joining us today on today's webinar. We are excited to talk about the listing template editor, which is a really big feature in eDirectory, and it's a great way to configure your website. Before we get started, just some quick logistics. We will be recording a copy of this webinar, which will be posted onto the eDirectory blog. At the bottom, at the bottom of the eDirectory.com website, you will see the blog feature, and we'll have the recording posted there. So you can share it or review back later if you'd like. Also, if you have any questions during the webinar, please post them into the chat, and we will stop periodically to answer any questions. As well as at the end of the webinar, we'll have more time to answer, anything about this or any other topic you'd like. And with us today, we have Larissa, who's our marketing manager. Hi, Larissa. How are you?
Hi, James. I'm great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining.
All right. And we do these webinars every 2 weeks. So come back and join us again on September 17th, where we're going to talk about just give some tips about starting the directory website, getting it off the ground successfully. It's a pretty good one for beginners in this area. So you can register for that on edirectory.com in the webinar section. And for anybody new here, just some very quick background on eDirectory. This is the platform that we sell. It is to build directory or listing style websites and mobile apps. It's used for all different types of purposes, anything from lead generation sites, vendor directories, alumni directories, local guides, membership sites, all sorts of different things. It has all of the core content management systems in it, including adding pages, events, listings. Obviously, it's all configurable, highly customizable through a WYSIWYG editor, so you don't even need to do coding, and you can create native iPhone and Android apps under your own brand and submit under your own account in the app stores. And it's SEO optimized, and we do have a source code. The PHP source code is available with the owned license version. So if you want to learn more, visit edirectory.com and just schedule a private demo with an account exec. And one other thing I want to mention is we have a feedback tool for eDirectory, just features in the product, anything you'd like to see that I may not have, those type of things. And you can go to ideas.edirectory.com. We've had a lot of great feedback that we have already been working on, so it's excellent to get that feedback there. That's ideas.edirectory.com. And if you're already a customer, I think we have a link in the system for that as well. So today we're going to talk about the listing template editor. First, the importance of the detail listing page, functionality of the listing template editor, structure of the listing detail page, widgets available, and associations and plugins for the listings, and then settings for the listing detail page. So we're really going into the listing detail page, which is the core of eDirectory. And I'm going to pull up a live demo here in a second to show you everything. But I just wanted to do a quick overview with some slides first for that. So yeah, so the listing is really the core of the directory system, and the listings can be anything. They might be businesses, depending on the directory. It might be vendors, suppliers. We have a lot of people doing speaker directories like public speakers, those kind of things. And what the listing has is all of the detailed information for the listing, all of the fields for the listing. It has the basic data, add some unique insights in there. This can be things like features, ratings and reviews, a map to where it is, related listings, all sorts of different things are in here that we're going to show. This is really, really important. Probably the most important thing of your content is the listing and the really deep, detailed listing page. So it's a good idea before you get started to really think about the fields and how this is going to be designed and put some time into it before you start importing and creating data for your directory. The listing template editor allows users to customize and create listing detail pages effectively by sort of category. You can set up these different templates, bind them to categories, and then the listing in certain categories, like a golf course listing, might have different categories, obviously, than a hotel listing or a restaurant listing. For a local guide, other things, a doctor might have different categories or different fields in a different listing layout than a dentist, for instance, or a lawyer, depending on what kind of directory you're using. It has a drag and drop visual editor for ease of use. We have an option to use a template for all listings. So if you don't want to spend too much time customizing every little, template for every little category that you have, you can just do a general listing and maybe call it business or whatever you want to call it, and put that in there. And then your key ones, you can create custom templates for key categories and specific templates for that. It has ability to create custom fields and modify the design based on the niche or the category there. And summary cards are available for the results pages as well, depending on the type of listing and the listing template that you have there. Remember, content is still king. So this is really, really important to put that time into getting the really deep content. Commodity content is actually everywhere these days. You can go anywhere and search for anything, and you'll get something on Google, you'll get something over here, something over there. So your competitive advantage is building out this really deep, beautiful content. And first step of that is obviously configuring the listing template page to have the fields and everything that you want, and then putting the time in and the effort into building out that data. And we have another webinar as well as a bunch of resources on techniques to build out data and scale as well. So that's another topic. Today, we're just going to talk about the listing template editor. Okay, so the editor itself. So there's a detail page. I'm going to pull this up in just a couple more seconds here. And basically, people do a search results come up, and there's a summary view and then the detail view. And so the detail page has the key components, which are the listing header, content tabs, such as photos and menus, and then a sidebar. The sidebar is this side over here, if you can see it on the right. And then the main bar is here. You can also set up tabs in the listing detail as well. So you might have a tab for photos, a tab for reviews, whatever else, however you want to do it. It's very, very flexible as far as setting that up. The widgets available, we have 7 listing header options, 6 banner options. And sponsored links, 23 standard fields available, custom fields, multiple options for personalization, special fields, including linked listings and related listings as well. And settings for the listing detail page. The settings allow for customization of levels and pricing for the listing. So the customizable fields, options for standard fields and custom fields are available. And also listing pricing has flexibility as well to set the different prices for the listing types as well. So the key widgets, there's a couple really important widgets that you want to make sure, depending on your use case, that are included. One of the big ones is a call to action, and this call to action is essentially just a button that has a link that can go to the listing's own page or system to book an appointment, book a table, buy now. It might go to a PayPal thing. It might go to a Shopify link somewhere external outside of the directory. That is the call to action there, and it can be anything depending on the listing. You can change the label and where the link is going. So a lot of external systems from, book your villa, reserve a table, if it's a law firm, maybe request advice for it goes to a form where they fill out some more information. A shopping link, gyms and studios might have a, join a class kind of thing that goes to their class management system. Tickets, scheduling a visit, booking an appointment at a clinic, all sorts of different uses for the call to action button. There's also a checklist widget, which is a big one. This can be things like if it's a restaurant talking about, the different highlights that they offer there, or features, things like free Wi-Fi, air conditioning, parking, whatever. Those kind of things are a checklist widget, which is a really key widget. More details widget can have more information. These are things like if it's a house, maybe number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, number of garage spots. Resort policy, you may include this kind of thing here, as you can see in this example. Check-in time, check-out time, max occupancy, etc. Payment options is a big one, cancellation policy, all sorts of stuff you can use, put in with these widgets. So a lot of flexibility there. Um, Linked listings are another important one, and this might be something like if, say, you have a clinic and there's a number of different dentists or doctors or service providers in the clinic, you can link listings that are in the same account to that, and then it'll have sort of the main clinic listing and then sort of sub listings for those individual service providers in there. And that's a great feature as well. People do that often in, if they're doing some type of a real estate-ish type thing with, maybe an agent and some properties or something along those lines. Lots of different use cases for linked listings. Um, Products and services widget is a big one as well. You can put it on the sidebar or in the main bar. It's a very simple thing. It doesn't do the checkout and any purchasing and all of that is handled by the sponsor, so you don't have the workload there. But you can the listing owner can set up a couple of their key offerings or products, and then drive traffic somewhere else. That works great with different service providers as well, and I'll show you how to set that up in a second here, as far as that goes. More detail widget. Just you can talk about medical specialties, just a different type of thing that has a whole bunch of different options that you can configure in there. All sorts of use cases for that. And then associations and plugins. Associations include deals and classifieds. So if you want to link some classified job ads with a certain business listing, that's an example of that, or the deals as well. Could go in there. And then the plugins, we have a number of plugins available as well. You can do an HTML editor in the listing detail. I'd be careful about doing that, but because it potentially they can change your format and those kind of things with the HTML in there. If you want to keep it very consistent, maybe not, but that gives a lot of flexibility for people to put different things. We have instant messaging plugin for WhatsApp, multiple videos, multiple locations, advanced reviews, events association, articles association to associate an article with a listing. If it's like a sponsored article, those kind of things can be done with that. So lots of flexibility here. And the tips, eDirectory is super adaptable. Know your competitors, understand what their list, see other sites out there, make sure that your data is more complete than theirs, and that gives you the advantage. You want to customize it as much you can by the directory niche. If it covers multiple industries, create different elements and layouts for those different, those templates and those different niche industries there. Um, and then you can use icons, emojis, and badges. We have a badge feature, which is really great as well, to drop into the listing where you can give, top rated, editor's choice, those kind of things. Keep it scannable so people can quickly get the key information without making the listing detail way too busy. And then prioritize visuals. These sites are all about the photos and the videos and the images and all of that. It's really, really important to think about that. So before we open up the questions, actually, I'm going to show you guys an example. This is our travel guide. This is just a demo. It's sort of a site we set up to show you how you can configure the directory. And if you have anything to add here, feel free to jump in, Larissa, and then we'll take questions here in another second. So this is the travel guide, and you can see the home, explore all of this, and then you have the search here. And let me see. So I'm going to search for just the listing that we set up, just so you can see what the listing looks like on the front. So Coconut Grove listing will show up. Here's the detail view of the listing. Let me actually see if I can search for resort. I'm not sure how many listings we have in here. Let's see if it's in this category. And then you can see the summary view. That's probably a better way to start. So let me hold on. This search for, actually, let me explore. Here's an example I was looking for. So the Coconut Grove Resort here. These are the summary cards here. An example of what one of the summary views looks like. So you can see different things here, and you can see this view. This is the summary view. This also comes up on the results page if there's multiple listings that respond to it. And then if you click here, then you'll see the detail page. And so obviously it has the listing name, a logo, ratings, the category it's in, the phone number, the address information, a website, write a review or send a message, so you can add that. If the listing is a listing you imported and it hasn't been claimed yet, there will be an option to claim it here. And then the person can go through a process which has a moderation, so you can approve the claim or not, so you can avoid spam in there. With that, and that's important. After it's been claimed and there's an owner, this doesn't appear. And then there's the main detailed tab is here. And so it has hours open now. With this, if this is a real address, it actually show a Google map here as well. This is just kind of a sample fake address, but that would show up here as well as get directions. And then you have the description here, main photo, a book now. This is the call to action link. And then hotel stars is just, maybe the star rating with it. The features is, things that you can configure that they can select for the hotel template. So do they offer a welcome drink, airport transfer, those kind of things. One other big feature is the additional information. And you can upload, for instance, a menu or whatever it is. I mean, it may be a product manual, it may be some policies. It could be anything depending on your use case here for that. Then we have a number of lists here, what's included, room amenities. You can set up multiple and have selections for these. Here's the resort policy that we talked about as well. Oh, this on the right is a social media link. This actually wouldn't be directory. It would be the resort. This is a fake resort just because it's a demo, but this would be Coconut Grove social media here for that. The drinks of the week, this could be, a menu upload here, for instance, as well. Photo gallery here, where you can upload multiple photos. And then the ratings and reviews, as well would be right here. And you can move all these around in the template editor, which I'm going to show in just a second, but I thought it'd be helpful to see how it looks on the front first. So the ratings and reviews, are here. This on the right, the discounted packages, this is our products and services widget where it's sort of like that mini store where they can put up multiple things. All of the checkout and details are handled somewhere else. It's basically just so, it can link to a Shopify site, it could link to a PayPal, it could link to a form, it could link to their own website. It's a call to action with some more details, things on it here as well. And you can see the more details with it as well. And clicked off the page here, but let me go back down. Photos, discounted packages, ratings and reviews, contact information, send a message. And then these would be some related listings here. That would be other links to other listings. And so you can configure these to show up as well. Depending on it. So that's kind of the listing detail page. And now I'm going to show you how this is configured, how this template is configured. So I'm logging into the site manager. That's at site manager. If you're on our demo, you'll see a thing at the top that says website role. And you can click on that to log into your backend. If you've already ordered the system, I'm sure you're familiar with this. And as I should mention as well, if you need a personal tour of the system, we have an account executive that can do that for you. You can just schedule that on eDirectory.com and we'll give you a personal walkthrough of the system. But so if you log into the system here, you'll go to the content area, and then you can see the main modules of the system, which is, listings, the deals or coupons, the events, classifieds, articles, blogs, banners, frequently asked questions, and then importing and exporting listing data, listing and event data here. And so these are the modules. You can turn these on or off as well, but the listings is what we're talking about today. So let me just go into the listing editor here. And this is the listing that we were just looking at. So listings basically have the listing data, and this is the data that's filled in, and I could edit this data. But the data is actually set up through a template. And so that's what I'm going to show you is how to set up the template. So let's go here to listing templates and let me show you. So we have these different templates. The main default one is just listings, and this comes kind of installed by default in the website. I think we also have an option, right, Larissa, to give them some pre-installed templates, I believe, for different key categories and those type of things if needed. But yeah, so the basic listing is here, but then you can add another template, like say your director is focused on hotels as one of your big categories, then you can set up a template for hotels. And so you go to the hotel, you hit add a template up here in the upper right, and then set up a new template for hotel. And then the template has a title. First, you can enable it, disable it as you're working on it. So nobody can see it, nobody can use the template while you're working on it. And then once it's set, you can enable it. That's what this is up here. Then here's the template title. So this is a hotel template. And the hotel template, templates can be bound to categories. And this is really important because many times you want a general listing template that works with all categories. So this category, actually, we probably make this a hotel category here. Let me see. Let me see if the demo has a hotel category. Yeah. So eat and drink, emergency essentials, getting around towns, things
Yeah,
to
it's
do,
the
travel.
last one. Yeah,
Yeah,
where to
where
stay.
to stay. So
Perfect.
basically, you would add this, and so now the categories. This template is only going to allow people to choose the where to stay category. If you're adding a hotel, you're going to be in this category. Those two are connected together, and that's important. Sometimes you want to have a template that's general and connected to multiple categories, and sometimes you want only one category to be bound to the template. So that's important in here to set that up as well. And then there's a summary view as well. And so there's a bunch of different layout options for the summary view. And these are basically you just pick one that you like here. Some of them have no information, like no address info or anything, a very clean listing. And some of them have much more data in here as well as reviews and all of that. So you can find one of these that looks pretty good for what you're doing. And that's the summary view used on the search results and sort of browsing through different areas. And then this is the detail view of the listing. And so the detail view, if I go back here to the beginning, let me just show you. So the website, has a header up here and a search bar, and then it has the listing header right here, and then it has the tabs right here. And so when I'm configuring the template, the listing header is that part you saw with the logo and the listing name and those kind of things there. And then what you can do, you can add different things in there, add other widgets to it. But let me just browse the ones that we have here. And these are the tabs that come up as well. So you can add tabs and then put different widgets on the different tabs with, to make a multi-tab listing. So this is like the tabs for this Coconut Grove, and it has photos and reviews in separate tabs. And if I click those, if you can see that here are the photos or here are the reviews. Some people just like different widgets on different tabs. So that's up there. Some people don't use the tabs at all, and it's just one big page with the listings, and that's great too, depending on what you're going to do. And then here are the widgets. So basically, the widgets you can drag and drop them around using this sandwich thing, or delete them if you want. And the separators are just sort of lines with that. And then let me just show you this one here is the call to action. And so the call to action, basically there's a button style and then some alignment options, and then you can change the label. It could be book now. The other label would be book a table, whatever your call to action is here. Reserve, whatever you kind of feel like putting in here as a button label, you can do that, and you can make it required or not up here. As far as that goes. The feature widget, that's another important one. The separator widget, additional file. And so these are all just sort of laid out as you go here. The checklist widget, let me just show you some options on this here. So in the checklist widget that had, for like a hotel, it had free Wi-Fi, air conditioning. I think you saw that here. Let me see where it is. So yeah, so some of these features here included amenities, these kind of things here. That's configured here. And so you set these options up, the free Wi-Fi, etc. And then when people are adding a listing, they can say yes or no, I have free, free Wi-Fi or whatever these different options are when they're adding their listing. And then if they click yes, I have free Wi-Fi, then the option shows up here. That's basically how it works. I hope that's clear for everybody. After you get in here and set it up, you'll see. And then here's the checkbox. So a bunch of different little icons here. So you can see this check icon right over here. And that's configured over here with this part. There's just 100 billion different little labels here for that. So that's how that works. A lot of different widgets. You just need to get in here and see. Here's the more details, which is somewhat similar to that. Um, let's see. The photo gallery widget's pretty straightforward. Oh, here's the call to action widget that you saw over here. Where is it? Up here. Where is it? Like this book now is an example of that as well. This template that I'm changing here, it's on the sidebar. So there's a couple different layout options, and then it says check full menu is the button label or whatever you'd like the label to be for it. And then the actual link, whenever you're adding the listing, the actual link is on a per listing basis. So that is added as that goes there. Products and services widget. Oh, that's the one here. That is over here. Where is that? This is actually the products and services widget. It has multiple products. It can have multiple products in it. And these products are added when you add the listing. You're just setting up the template right now. That's the key thing to remember. The button label by now, or order, probably order is a common one. And then the products on sale, discounted packages. So here we go. Discounted packages is here for that. And then the display label, this is when you're on the listing page, you'll say discounted packages. You'll see that there with that. So video widget, all sorts of things here. So I think that's basically how the template editor's set up. And then you save it. And then once the template is there, then you can go in and add a list. Oh, so the categories, you can add categories here. This is pretty obvious though. Add your categories. You can do bulk uploads for the categories as well for that. And then your system's gonna be ready. But to add a listing, obviously the sponsors can add a listing and check out. But let me just show you essentially how you would add a listing from the site manager here for anybody new here. So I could edit the Coconut Grove listing, which already has a lot of great data in it. But let me just go here. So um, so basically, it's going to be a diamond level, and then what type of listing is it? And so I'm going to pick a hotel. And then once I got the hotel here, you can put in, this would be like James's Hotel. James's Hotel, okay. Luxury, of course, luxury hotel. And then this would be the categories that are bound to this hotel. And so the template actually, this is set up, this would have the where to stay sort of bound to it as far as that goes. The account is the account owner. Then you have the description. keyword for search. All of the regular fields are all in here, social networks features. And then you can see the features that are available for this template, and you can add those there. And then the hours of operation, number of stars, a booking link goes here, check full menu. And then the items included, the room amenities, all of those widgets that I put in, they're all sort of available here to do that. And the photo gallery is available here. To add a photo, you can upload the photos, cover image, logo image, video. All of that stuff is here. And then, the menu option is uploaded here. So all these different fields are configurable through that previous template editor as far as that goes. And the visitors will see that. This is how a site manager would add it to that. I think before I open it up, I'm going to open up to questions in just a second here. I know that's kind of a lot of stuff, especially if you're new to this system. I think the other thing I wanted to show is just some of these options on setting the products and plans, just so people can see how uh, products and plans are sort of managed. And then let me just see. So eDirectory obviously has plans where people can buy a listing, by time period and package, and then products here. And we have another webinar that goes over this in more detail as well. But just so you can see, listings can have multiple levels, and then you can enable some of those features on the different level. So if the feature is disabled, it won't appear if they're on a basic level when they check out. And then here's the template widgets for the hotel. So this is like the hotel, and so you can configure, like, okay, maybe the basic level listing doesn't have a booking link, so there's no book now on the basic level listing. So that's an important feature there for people. So yeah, so that's it. And then you get the room amenities, the resort policy, all this stuff you can enable or disable on a listing level basis after you've set the master template up with everything in there. So I think with that, what I'd like to do is just open it up to questions. I know that's a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in the chat. I know Larice has been possibly answering some of these, but I'll just run down it. And if anybody has any new questions, let me know. Let's see. Let me see. Uh, what version is this widget now available? I'm not sure what widget. Okay. Yeah. Larissa answered that. All versions are version 13. We just released a new minor release on Monday with a few things as well. I think we're at 13.9. Pretty minor stuff in there, but you can check the blog post with all the different details on that as well. But this is the newest version. We're trying to do faster releases and keep things going as best we can here. Are these plugins to be added to the listing template or a sidebar on the page outside of the listing? These seem to be new e-plugins. As someone purchased all plugins, are these included? Okay, so two questions there. Yeah, so some of the plugins are sort of additional things that you can get and install into the system. They're not necessarily widgets, but sometimes they are, or they affect how widgets function. They're just sort of add-ons to the system modifications. Some of them function in the sidebar, some of them don't. Depends on where the widget is and what the plugin does. Some of them are sort of overall plugins. I think we have another webinar about plugins entirely, but if there's specific questions on that, we can certainly follow up with Rhonda later and get those answered for you. Can someone show me how to add a restaurant reservation widget to the website? Yes, absolutely. So that may be something you want to use the that call to action button. And let me just go back here. I don't know if that was clear to people, but let me just see if I can show that here. So settings, sorry, let me go to the listings. So the listing template, let me just do regular listing, about separator feature, additional file separator video. Let me just see if this has a book now. I think this one doesn't. So let me just go up here and add um, add a widget. Um, enter, cancel. Wait, let me go to actually I have this done already in the hotel. So in the hotel, you have this call to action button right here that you can see, as well as sort of the marketplace widget. And then when I'm editing the Coconut Grove, you can edit this listing here and luxury resorts. And then there should be a field in here to add the button, the features. Check out our menu, and then the booking link here. So you can just put in a link here. This is the call to action. And this link here would go to like opentable.com. Uh, Whatever their ID equals, whatever for their booking page on there. Is that, I hope that's clear on how to add that booking link. First, you add the widget, the call to action, and then the booking link goes here with for that specific restaurant when you're adding Coconut Grove's reservation link. And basically, the sponsor can do that on their form as well when they check out. So hopefully that's clear there. If you have any more questions on that, certainly let us know. All right. Um, Let me see. Uh, let's it appears that the fields are in the templates, but the widgets add options to put functioning links. Yes, so I think she's just wondering about that last thing I just showed there with that question, Rhonda. Hopefully that answers it. Yeah, so we had a question from Johannes. I know this question only comes from fanboys of the eDirectory platform. What changes or updates were done to the template editor in the new version 13.9? We have a full change log of that on the web page. I think it's just better if you go and check that out on Larissa will post in the link to that. And That'll have all the features. We have a video too that shows you a walkthrough of it. You can see all that online. Yeah. And I think we are going to probably do a webinar related to that. We just released on Monday, so that's why it's been really busy this week, as far as that goes. Um, let's see. Is there a way to limit articles by month? I would like to limit the amount of articles per month based on the top level subscription. Is it, is this meaning, I don't know if you're meaning you want to limit how many articles somebody can view, or if you want to limit as sort of a membership, or if it's like how many articles somebody can write. And then it resets every month. That's somewhat interesting. I suspect you're looking for limiting articles, a certain number of articles that somebody can view. I think we don't have that limiting by number. However, we do have a paywall set up that's pretty good where you can give them access or not if they're paying. But we don't have that feature to limit to a certain number of articles. That's something to reach out to our account exec though and just see because it may not be that difficult to customize the system and put that feature in. We can do customization. We have a full customization team to do that. Next question from Rhonda. Do we need to shut down to upgrade to the new AI upgrade? No, our upgrades, the way the upgrades work is the site basically will quickly be locked, and then the upgrade runs locked in terms of people can view it, but they can't edit the data. The upgrade runs, and then it's unlocked, and then people can edit the data, and it's usually a pretty quick process. So it doesn't need to shut down necessarily to do any of that, and it's an upgrade that runs on our system there. Um, let's see. Yeah, okay, great. It looks like that's all the questions I guess we had. Does anybody last questions, I guess, post anything else in there? And one thing I want to mention is I know it's a little bit complicated. Many times you have this idea of what you're looking for, but you're not sure how to make it happen. This platform is extraordinarily customizable, and you can do all sorts of different things with it. From posting in widgets from Open Table and all these other websites and calendar, all sorts of things can be pasted in there. So if you're having trouble figuring out how to use it, reach out to our team. We take pride in having really great support available by live chat on eDirectory.com. Just go in there and get help chat. We have a great knowledge base as well. And uh, and that helps people, with whatever you need. Just let us know, and we'll do that. Oh, we had a late question come in from Johannes. How can I insert new custom fields in via the listing and get them bulk updated to populate those new custom fields that I added? This is actually a big feature that we're working on, Johannes. So that hopefully will be out not too long in the future, where the custom fields can be bulk imported. Right now, the basic info is bulk imported, and then we're not able to do the custom import unless if you already have a big database pre-done, we can charge you a couple hours probably to run a script to import it. But we don't have that done through the interface just because it gets pretty complicated for many of the customized listings. But we're working on that, so that will be in the future. Hopefully not too far out for that. Yeah, I got the beard today. Um, yeah, so we'll see you next time. That's a funny comment. Beard makes you look a little older. That's funny. All widgets, oh, and then Ron had a question. All widgets are available, but plugins have to be purchased. Yes, that's right. So the widgets are all available, and then the plugins are add-ons. You can go to eDirectory.com, check the list of plugins. They do often very different things. The widgets alone, often people can get their website looking typically how they're looking for it, but maybe you have some things you need in our plugin library, some custom things there. So reach out and just talk to us if you need something. We'll be able to help. Late comment from Yolanda. I'm having difficulty figuring out how to have someone claim a listing without running them through the payment section. Yeah, so basically the listing just needs to be set up as sort of a free listing, and there's a way to get that done. We can have our support reach out to you and show you how to get that done so that you can have people claim a listing without making them pay for it. For that, it just needs to have a free version. So if we can note that, Larissa, follow up. Let's see. Oh, question from Margin. Is the hotel listing template an additional plugin? No, that's absolutely not a plugin. That's just configured. You just go in and configure it. In the system, you say, I want a hotel listing, and it's going to have these fields. So you can do that for as many different templates as you want, set up all your own different templates, and that doesn't require any plugin or any additional cost for that. And I think we do have some default ones as well that are sort of pre-set up for you if you need. So, well, great. It looks like that's all the questions. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us today. And after the webinar, I think there may be a feedback survey, and you can give us some feedback on the webinar. List any additional topics you'd like us to cover in the future. And thanks, everybody. Have a great day.